This is the VK01D, which is basically the best tank that you've never heard of. So just a no, you just don't do that in other tanks. So as you can see, I'm basically firing at the enemies which are right now fired at from two sides. I don't have too much success. However, I do manage to see the tiger retreating. I think it's probably stock tiger, poor thing. And yeah, I just fire in succession, and the rate of fire is so impressive that the tank is basically like a Cromwell, just the German variant, right? And yeah, as you can see, if you get the enemies from the flank, you don't need to use premium rounds even against tier 7 or tier 8 tanks. Now I do realize that the Su-130 PM is facing backwards, and he doesn't have a fully rotating turret. So I'm just, I don't know, I'm checking his behind to see if there's any problem over here. This replay I chose it because a lot of people, when they're playing in tier 6s, they feel that it's so hard to do anything, but as you can see over here, it's not that hard if you have a mobile tank that can flank and use the flow of the battle. Hi everyone, today's video is gonna be about a tank from the standard tech tree as opposed to the ones that I've previously mentioned so far, and it's gonna be about a tank which is actually a tier 6. But don't leave just yet, because trust me, this is gonna be worth it. So the tank that I'm gonna show you over here is a tank that you probably never played with. This is the VK01D. It's basically the equivalent of a Cromwell in the German Take 3 line, in that it has a gun that has around 135 damage per minute, with around 150 pen, with a great rate of fire, with good mobility, great accuracy, good aim time, and really good gun depression. Also, it has some great traverse speed, and it has some good camo as well, decent at least, and some really good view range as well. So this tank basically has two of the three pillars of the what a tank needs to be able to actually be good in a game. So it has mobility and it has firepower. The firepower is basically comparable or even better than some tier 8s, right? So this tank will absolutely shred its enemies really fast. So what I would suggest, if you do want to try it, is to go with some vents, some rammer to maximize that firepower, and some spotting, some coated optics, because you'll be able to, at lower tires, outspot everyone in the enemy team. And then on higher tire games, you'll be able to flank them and use that brilliant gun to actually put a bit of pressure on the enemies. You should also consider camo, blood and arms, and then some off-road driving and a few snapshots, some recon, and also some adrenaline rush, because sometimes you're gonna get in those situations where you kind of get low HP, and then the extra boost might help you to just stay alive a little bit more. I also took some situational awareness to also increase that that view range just a little bit, and I also took some increasing hold traverse speed, because it is not any great movement. Then you have some great dispersion during movement, and then I also took the turbocharger just to make the tank a little bit faster when with the mobility side. So that being said, I do want you to try at least sometimes to play whenever you feel bad playing at tier 8 and getting clapped by everyone in their BZs, Skoda T50s and all of that. Just try and play some mid tires, because you'll find that sometimes they are quite refreshing. And on that bombshell, let's go into a battle, and then we're gonna see how this tank actually performs in a battle. Today I want to talk to you about a replay that I had in a tank that you probably never played, and I think this might be the best tank that you have never even played, or might have not even heard too much of. This is the 3001D. It's a tier 6 German tank, that medium tank that has mobility which is comparable to the Cromwell. It has a little bit more HP than the Cromwell, just a tiny bit slower than it, and it has a really effective gun, a tire a 75mm gun that packs 135 alpha with around 150 pen, and as opposed to most of the regular German Tech 3 tanks, this is a really mobile tank that has an excellent DPM. This tank can get up to around 2.5k DPM, and it will do so pretty easily with just standard equipment, and also the fact that it's so mobile, it allows you to basically move wherever you want on the map. And it also, as opposed to other tanks at this category, it also has some really good view range. So it basically has two of the three good elements that make a tank good. It has excellent firepower, it has excellent mobility. It doesn't have armor, but then again, most of the tier 6 tanks don't really have any kind of armor to speak of. So in this kind of situation, if you have the mobility and the firepower which is comparable to a tier 8, so basically the only thing it lacks is pen, but you can compensate with some premium rounds. It's around almost 200 pen with the premium rounds, and if that fails, you can just try and relocate and go somewhere else. So today I'm gonna be showing you a couple of games in the VK01D, and this tank, like you see right here, is really good at firing on the move, and also it's really mobile while doing so. And as you saw, I just fired 3 shots in a row on the move towards the Scorpion, and each of them went in. Can vary wildly at some point, but as long as you don't overexpose, the tank is pretty forgiving with this. So it's one of those tanks in which you do have quite a large amount of shots in order, so you can liberally use your firepower to do so. And as you see right now, I'm just going around the battlefield, picking apart some weaker units if I can find them, using the mobility to stay ahead of the enemies, and just moving around really nicely. And as you saw, I'm pretty able to spot various tanks. I'm firing on the move towards the Patriot. I did get spotted and shot at by the Tiger, but the Tiger is a great tank, so what do you expect? Now I'm basically using this friend of mine to just have a bit of cover while I'm advancing towards the enemy. And yeah, this tank loves aggression. I don't know why, but you just feel that you can be aggressive with it and take some risk that other tanks are just a no. You just don't do that in other tanks. So as you can see, I'm basically firing at the enemies, which are right now fired at from 2 sides. I don't have too much success. However, I do manage to see the Tiger retreating. I think it's probably stock Tiger, poor thing. And yeah, I just fire in succession, and the rate of fire is so impressive that the tank is basically like a Cromwell, just the German variant, right? And yeah, as you can see, if you get the enemies from the flank, you don't need to use premium rounds even against tier 7 or tier 8 tanks. So in short order, the tank got to 1.3k damage over here, and yeah, in a less than 5-minute game, you're basically able to do quite a bit. Now I do realize that the Su-130 PM is facing backwards, and he doesn't have a fully rotating turret, so I'm just I don't know, I'm checking his behind to see if there's any problem over here. And now I'm just going towards the Patriot. So this is a really lovely tank. This replay I chose it because a lot of people, when they're playing in tier 6s, they feel that it's so hard to do anything, but as you can see over here, it's not that hard if you have a mobile tank that can flank and use the flow of the battle. So let's go to round number 2. So now let's have a look at the post-game stats, just to have an idea of this, how this looked like. I finished top on experience and basically fourth on damage, so I think that's a pretty good result in this tank. And yeah, this is the VK01D. Let's hop into the next game. Now let's see the tank in a game in which it is top tier. And I think that you'll kind of see why this tank can be pretty strong when it's top tier. The fact that it has the mobility and the gun to actually kill an enemy tank in a few shots means that, and also it's pretty accurate as well, means that it can actually fire just 200 or 200 and something damage or twice for basically all the shots that the enemies get. And the gun is so accurate at snapshotting that if you have a decent enough crew, you'll be able to basically do the same damage at least as a tier 7 or even more, sometimes even as a tier 8. And you can find those positioning because at lower tier madness, well, nobody's really that good if they're playing this tier, or just a few, maybe a few seal clubbers, but that's about it. And over here you can basically take a bit more risks and yeah, get a better payout as well. And also the tank, like I said, has a really good view range, so over here you'll be able to use that view range a lot more than you would in a similar tire. So as you saw, another snapshot, pretty fast over here. And yeah, it's just 2-minute games or 3-minute games. You're gonna do quite well in the tank. And over here I'm just watching every corner because I have enemies on 3 sides, and just trying to get that opportunity to get in. Now I do see that the enemies are a bit on the lower side and with respect to their HP, and now the Type 58 is dead, so I basically decide to run up the hill. I see that our T-150 has destroyed also the Type 64, so now I'm on top of the hill. I don't see why I wanted so bad to get on top of the hill, because from this position you're basically able to dominate the hill and all the surrounding areas. And you can see you can fire pretty accurately at the Matilda from a distance, and the rate of fire is basically on par with the Matilda almost. Basically, sometimes you don't really get to fully aim the shell between the two shots, although the 3 seconds, around 3 seconds, 3 and a little bit seconds distance between the shots allow you to most of the time get those shots in. So yeah, just spotting everybody, shooting a few shots at the various targets. Now you can see the tier 4s, the tier 5s, the tank was so accurate that you can actually fire at them on the move. And now it has enough gun depression, I think it has 6 or 7, I'm not sure. It has enough gun depression to actually reliably contest every kind of area. Now I went on the top of the hill, I managed to spot a few enemy tanks, and at this point I'm seeing, okay, maybe there's a bit more on this other side. I see a Turan, which is just driving around like a headless chicken, so you can't blame the guy, he's in a Turan, so I wouldn't want to be in that tank either. And I consider spotting on this side, maybe there are some enemies on that other side, but it seems that there are none. So at this point I'm pretty confident that I can at least see whatever happens from the front. I do get spotted, I'm not sure from what, and I pull back just a tiny bit to see if I can get the shot in. I shoot once that the Jagdpanzer, I felt the pen to hit him, then the rate of fire basically allows me to keep on firing, and I get in a couple of shots, and the third one, the guy just stays over there and takes it, so yeah, can't argue with that. Now the Su-85 is actually firing at me, so I am prioritizing this guy just to try and take him out of the game. And as you see, by the time he makes a few shots in, I basically clip the entirety of that TD. So at tier 6, this tank it's actually quite a menace, because you have the whole package. You have mobility, you have a gun, a good gun, you have good DPM, and you also have some HP, because the tier 6s have been buffed a few patches ago. They're not as easily destroyed as previously, and you can see that you can actually hit pixels with this. So this is the VK01D, which is basically the best tank that you've never heard of. Okay, now let's have a look at the third game. This was basically your standard type of matchmaking that you'll see in this tank. A lot more you're gonna see it at least in tier 8, but you're gonna see a lot of tier 7s as well. So as you saw, the tank is really adept of scouting. Basically there are 2 lights over here, but I'm scouting most of the enemy tanks over here. I fire on the move, tank works perfectly, and I actually bounce a shot from the 240 TP. So if you get into this position, then you're just high enough or tall enough to actually fire above the enemy targets, and they really can't see you and shoot you. Enemy tanks without them being able to shoot at you. And as you see over here, you're able to more often than not just put 2 in before they even realize that you're there. Basically they lose an important portion of their HP. And like I said, the tank is also really good at spotting targets. So at tier 6, this tank spots really well. I use coated optics because you get a huge advantage over here, but it's this combination of really nice tank with the ability to snapshot quite effectively. I think this tank snapshots a little bit better than the Cromwell, and you also have a better view range than the Cromwell. The Cromwell does have, I think, just a little bit of advantage on the DPM department, and it's a bit more mobile, but just tiny little bit. It's nothing major over there, it's no big difference. So as you see in this game, standard tier 6, lower tier, fine, that's correct. But at the same time, the tank has also some good camo, and you can get situations like this where you actually outspot a light tank and they can't really do too much towards you. So only when I started firing at him did he manage to fire 1 shot in return. So as you saw over here in the first 3 minutes of the game, even less than 3 minutes, 2 minutes of the game, I'm basically at 1000 damage done, and yeah, I'm able to progress the game, basically go and try and spot a bit more. Now I do get spotted, I think from the challenger over there. I try to fire on the move on the challenger, hit him, which is impressive. Then I basically try and hit him again, but my lovely teammate is in front of me, so yeah, thanks for that, my friend. Okay, so though whenever there's a light over here, the enemies might like to target the light because he's a bit easier to fire at. Now the D25-2, I think, or the Achilles were trying to fire at me. The Achilles is actually a good tank. Over here we're gonna see that I do make a few mistakes. I underestimate the rate of fire that the Achilles has, because he's a TV with some pretty good good firepower. I do hit him once over here, twice, and now I do need to fall back because I basically lost all of my HP, and I'm just gonna wait for the backup to come. I noticed that he turned his turret, and then I snapshot again towards him, and he's basically done for. So in conclusion, I think that if you try this tank, you're gonna find that it's quite enjoyable. The one thing you need to be careful when playing with it is the fact that it doesn't have any kind of armor and it's a very big target. So the rocks and the terrain features are gonna be your friends. You also have the good gun depression, and you should use it. And more important than everything else, use that great mobility that you have. 21 specific power to weight ratio and a top speed of 60. That's just brilliant at any kind of tire. You also have good enough weight limit to actually ram the lights. One more thing, I do have some. This is the first tank that I played with a tier 6, and yeah, I think I gathered quite a lot of battles in it. You'll also see that you can do some really nice experience, at least with this tank. It's just a huge amount of experience, and also some decent damage. And I got the 3 marks of excellence with it. Quite a number of hero, battle epic medals and battle heroes over here. So you'll end up doing, due to their great rate of fire, a lot of high calibers in this tank. So if you do need to get a few top guns or high calibers, I actually got some steel walls as well. This is hilarious in this tank. So yeah, also some scouts and all of that other stuff. So in conclusion, I wholeheartedly recommend this tank for anyone who just wants to try something different sometimes, and yeah, just have fun and try the tank that you probably never heard of or never played with, at least, or haven't played in quite a long time. So just as a personal recommendation, just try it. So yeah, that being said, thank you very much for sticking to the end. And if you did like this video, maybe drop a like down below, and maybe even consider subscribing. I think that, at least for me, to help to the channel to grow. And thanks very much, and see you soon. Bye now.